What is up, MMA fans? This is James. Welcome to another edition of Stare Down MMA TV. Just thought I would ask you a couple quick questions and then give you a quick rundown of my top 5 favorite fighters, period, right now. So, anyway, guess the question I have to ask you is who are your top 5 favorites? How long does it take for you to calculate, your picks or selections? What variables do you take into consideration when you pick guys that you cheer or root for? There's a lot of different things. I can't really nail down any one specific thing that I like about all the fighters that I put on my list, but I don't know. There's just certain things about certain guys that jump out at you that make you want to just cheer for them. I mean, I think that's just the bottom line. Well, I guess number 5, I'll go ahead and go from there. It was really hard for me to actually to place this number, and I kind of cheated, and it's actually a tie, and it's between Gilbert El Nino Melendez and UFC featherweight champion Jose Aldo. I know there's a lot of people that will probably say, man, how could you possibly pick Gil Melendez over Jose Aldo? And to me, it's really not about, who wins what titles and who's got the best records and whatnot. I just like certain styles of certain competitors and the way that they compete. That's just pretty much how I boil it down to, how I create my top 5 list. So, Gil Melendez, he is the Strikeforce lightweight champion. He's avenged his only 2 losses. He's beat a bunch of the studs over there in Japanese mixed martial arts organization. So, I think he's a badass. And Jose Aldo is Jose Aldo. He's amazing. He's the guy that Anderson Silva said that if he was at 185 pounds, he'd retire, which I think is more of a complimentary statement than anything, but still speaks volumes about what level of competitor that Jose Aldo is. Number 4 for me is Nick Diaz. He's awesome. That guy's just great, and he keeps things interesting in mixed martial arts, and he definitely got his share of media attention in the latter half of last year. That's for sure. By the press conference, no shows and whatnot, and and then he of course had that fight with BJ Penn that was incredible. He put on quite a striking display in that fight. I got to be quite honest that I didn't really become a strong supporter of Nick until after he left the UFC, actually. I guess that's when I really started to take notice that he was starting to evolve into the kind of fighter that he would become today, which is extremely well-rounded, amazing, kind of freakish endurance and energy, pushes an insane pace, has crisp striking skills, and he's got sick Cesar Gracie jiu-jitsu skills. So, I mean, he's just dangerous all the way around. So that's why I've got him at number 4. Number 3 for me is Alistair Overeem. Oh, wow. What can you say about that guy? He's just he's a monolith. He's like he looks like a superhero. It's outrageous. And that's another guy that early on I kept thinking, who's this tall, skinny Dutch guy who's getting thrown around in Pride, when it was way early on in his career. And just another example of someone who obviously busted their ass and worked very hard to become what they, I guess lived up to his potential. He reached the level that he was supposed to reach, and of course he's one fight away from winning 4 major titles in 4 major organizations, which I believe is an unprecedented feat, especially in heavyweights for mixed martial arts. So the Reem he's awesome. So he's number 3. He's my number 3 favorite. And number 2 is Carlos, Natural Born Killer Condit. That's a guy that I've followed, since way back, even before he even started with the WEC. And I don't know, there's just something about that guy. I liked the way that he presents himself, both outside and inside the cage. He always comes to win. He's finished 26 opponents out of 27 victories, I believe, with 13 KOs and 13 submissions. So, he's equally as dangerous, standing as he is on the ground. just like his opponent that he has on Saturday, Nick Diaz. So tell me how much I'm hating that fight, man, where I got to have my number 4, my number 2 guy fighting each other. That's going to be really, that's a tough one, but I got to go with my boy Carlos Condit, much to the chagrin of many MMA fans out there, as well as many of my own peers and fans, but that's okay. I'm still rooting for Condit, totally. Let's do this, baby. But he's number 2. And number 1, and this probably will come to very no surprise to anyone, it's Anderson Silva. He's Anderson Silva. he's just the man. I don't think I've ever seen anyone who just seems so at ease inside the cage as Anderson, and it doesn't matter whether or not it's the UFC or Pride or any of the other organizations that he fought in before he actually came over to the UFC, which he's been here for, I believe, almost the last 6 years now. He's been undefeated in the UFC. He's defended the title every time since he won the belt from Rich Franklin. And yeah, I mean, he's my favorite. He's my number 1 guy. So, hit me up on Twitter. That's at JB StaredownMMA. Or check me out on Facebook or Google+. You can find the links on my website, which is jbstaredownmma.com. And I will see you guys in the next edition. So, rock on.